Okay, so last night I watched Game of Thrones' latest episode, that is season 8, episode 3, The Long Night. And similar to what happened after I watched Avengers Endgame, I kept on thinking about the episode because it's just such a polarizing episode for me. I have no idea if I should like it or not. So in this video, I'm gonna focus on the negatives, and I'm also gonna talk about why I think that the battle yesterday is the worst battle in Game of Thrones so far, but at the same time, also the most epic, the most ambitious, and probably the most complex. Actually, too complex for its own good, because I think the first thing about uh, the Battle of Winterfell that kinda sucks is that it's a little too complicated and it's not focused. We are being shown all these different fights in different corners of Winterfell, in the library, in around Bran Stark, around the tree. We have the wall of Winterfell, of course. We have the trenches. We have far beyond, up there in the sky, where Daenerys and Jon were playing hide and seek on dragons, and we even have a few scenes in the crypts. And what I also think is one of the reasons why the battle yesterday didn't pan out to be all that great is because not every single character is well used. I think Sansa and Tyrion and Varys were completely wasted in this episode. They were hiding in the crypt, and that's it. Tyrion didn't even kill anyone, despite having this dagger. I think he has a dagger on him, right? No, Sansa has a dagger on him, and I Jon Snow. What the hell? Jon Snow is a really key character, okay? But it's like in this episode he didn't do anything all that important. Arya, however, Arya did so many freaking things. She popped up out of nowhere in the end and stabbed the Night King. One blow and the entire army is dead. And it's like, I mean, Jon Snow could at least kill the ice dragon, right? That would be a pretty cool scene, right? And also, I really wanted a scene between Jon Snow and the Night King, just them two fighting and all that. And also, Winterfell is a big place. The people involved are so versatile in this episode. There are so many characters just coming together and fight the baddies on this episode. There are so many possibilities. There are so much potential. There is, sorry. But yet it seems like the potential are not realized at all, despite Melisandre lighting up the trenches and lighting up swords in the beginning, and that's it. And at the end, Melisandre just takes off her necklace and turns to dust. That's really underwhelming. I think what Melisandre should do is that she should lure the Night Generals. You know, the Night Generals, they are basically, assistants of the Night King. They're Night Generals with long hair and all. I think how Melisandre should die in the episode is that she should lure all the Night Generals towards her and light herself on fire and burn them all, or at least distract them. I think that would be great. A lot of people actually were buzzing about how the stakes were low, and indeed, the stakes were low. A lot more people should die, in my opinion. But to be honest, I think enough characters had already died, and I think plot armor is not like the worst thing ever. I don't want Samuel Tarly to die, even though he would definitely have died in yesterday's episode. I think what should really happen is that Samuel Tarly would become a coward. He would cry and he would secretly go back inside the walls in Winterfell and then realize that the crypt was in trouble, thus opening the doors to the crypt and allowing people in the crypt to evacuate. I think that would be great. But what I think would be even greater is that I think the army of the Night King and the good people in this episode, the good guys, I think they should have multiple different strategies, multiple plans, and every single plan is smarter than each other, and it's like the Night King's army, the Night King and the good guys trying to outsmart each other and break the pattern. What I think should really happen is that um, the Night King, people think that the Night King is going to get Bran, and when Jon Snow sees that when Jon Snow sees that the Night King is approaching Bran, or if anyone else sees that, the good guys will immediately come over to save Bran's ass and get the F out. But no, when the good guys arrived, the Night King isn't in Bran's trap. He set a trap on top of a trap, and then boom, the Night King appears in the crypt. Sansa and Tyrion are doomed. They have to evacuate immediately. Turns out the Night King is a smartass, and he placed a giant right at the entrance of the crypt, so they can't evacuate until the giant is killed, and that's when I guess another major character should sacrifice themselves to save the giant, or maybe Lyanna Mormont kills the giant because David versus Goliath, the story. And I think the scene just I think the overall battle needs more versatility. Like there are just so many possibilities. Like Arya could have killed one of the Night Generals and wear its face in order to hide in the bunch so that she could sneak up to the Night King, which is exactly what happened. Theon should still stay dead, but I think his death should have a greater impact. Maybe when he dies, he would take a piece of protective armor off of the Night King, or maybe the Night King, similarly to Melisandre, also wears a bracelet thing in order to keep himself unbreakable. Maybe when Theon dies, Theon breaks that so that Jon Snow comes and tries to stab the Night King with dragon glass. Psych! The Night King is immune to dragon glass, and as the Night King was about to crush Jon Snow, Arya takes off her Night General face and then stabs the Night King with a real Valyrian steel dagger. Then that would be a pretty great ending, not gonna lie. And I guess it would also be great if the Night King and the Night Generals actually speak, similar to the ending of Season 2. When they speak, it's like these ice screams. And I also think the sky should rain ice spikes and rain fire, but whatever. It's up to your imaginations.